You're a granddaughter of immigrants. They come from Scotland. Your grandfather?
My grandfather.
They call him Scotty, right?
Yeah.
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 So you may know, and you heard stories about how difficult it is to be an immigrant as a whole in any part of the world. Right now, there's a big outburst of immigrants coming from South America to the United States. The things that happen in the Middle East, everything that's going on, it's really difficult to describe right now. But something that is really great here at UTEP is that every student like you said in the beginning, it's handed an opportunity. I think me being an immigrant, it's really great to have, there's a lot of opportunities to be scholarships, classes, workshops, information that you can grasp and you can gather so you can become a better person. However, also something that is really hard to be as an immigrant is like to compete with others in the same area. And let me explain that. So, for example, I don't know if you know, but for an F1 student to actually get a job in the field, we need to get another visa, which is the H-1 visa. And that visa is basically a lottery. So you're not guaranteed before or after a higher education a spot in the workforce in the United States. Whenever you want to work here, you need to get a Social Security number, and also you only can work 19 hours a week. So because if not, you're getting advantage of the system. So in that sense, you knowing and you being literally in the guts of the education system, what do you think either UTEP, the United States government, or anything can help us to ease up those kind of situations so that more highly educated, capable immigrants can come to the United States? Right now that we have a crisis in birth, many people are not having kids and that kind of stuff. So we need immigrants. That's my belief. So I wanted to get your opinion on that.
So our immigration laws are outdated, no question. And they have been, it's kind of been stuck for about 20 years. And there are things that large numbers of people in America agree on. But that hasn't been able to, this is not something that we can solve here at UTEP. Of
course.
It is something that needs to be solved by the Congress and the President to change some of our laws. And that probably means changing some of our asylum laws. We do need better border security. We know that. But there are also issues with respect to immigration. Right now, we have a system of immigration that trends heavily towards family relationship and not so much towards skill. There have been ideas in the Congress in the past about what they call the Staple Act. A friend of mine from Arizona introduced it. It didn't pass, but it was the idea was if you got a degree from an American university in a needed skill, then a green card would be stapled to your diploma.
Wow.
That's why you call it the Staple Act.
Wow, that's a good one.
But part of the challenge of supporting things like expansion of the H-1B visa program is there are people in America who say, wait a minute, what about my kids? How do we make sure that kids who grow up in America have the opportunity to go to college, to meet the needs of their community and so forth? And so I think there are ideas out there to address those kind of things, but it requires a coming together that has not happened in America in the last 20 years. And I think it's really actually kind of coming to a head now. And I hope that we can build, that we've got the kind of leaders in America who can pull people together to secure the border, to deal with the human trafficking problem and the drug problem, to allow legal immigration and cross-border commerce, and address some of these really critical issues because they haven't for 20 years.
That's a very good point because I see this the same way. It's not a white or black problem. It's a gray problem. I mean, if you move this part of the spectrum, you'll affect this one. So I think we need to be very careful in that sense to actually know what to do. And it's not a solution that, as you said, like UTEP needs to do, not even yourself, not even people in El Paso or in Texas. It's a whole thing from international courts and that kind of stuff.
Because immigration law in the United States is federal law. It's not state law, and it's not something we can really affect here locally. But I do hope that perhaps there's enough will in the country and pressure to address border security, immigration law, asylum law, to get a system that works.
You're living in the border. How do you feel that type of tension of immigration law here?
It's interesting. Here in El Paso, it's probably a little different. And because I don't know about what your family says and things, but people see things on the news about El Paso, and it's when I tell people that we have 1,200 students who cross the border every day to come to UTEP. Now, some of them are American citizens living in Ciudad Juarez with one parent or the other, but about 800 are Mexican citizens who cross the border, get up really early, and cross the border and come to university here. I also think that most people who cross the border here move very quickly on through the shelters and so forth, and move on to other parts of America. I do think we've got a problem with our asylum system, but it doesn't really show up here so much in El Paso. And this community has been a border and trading community for 400 years. There are families that live on both sides of the border, and they've been going back and forth for 400 years. So it is a binational, bicultural community that is very different from other parts of the United States.
And El Paso being many people, El Paso in Spanish, the path, right? The path, the step.
Yeah.
And I think that's me being not from here. It's amazing how many people, even though they're from here, they don't have the sense of like being here from the other cities. Let's say San Antonio, Austin, College Station, for example. And I think that reflects directly on UTEP. I mean, UTEP is not known because of its great college spirit or that kind of stuff. At least that is what other peers tell me. And I think it's mainly because people see El Paso sometimes like a jump, like a trampoline to other type of stuff. But right now what I'm seeing is that many people choose to stay here, and many people choose to actually educate themselves here and grab a lot of love for this place.